stealing neighborhood burglar. Welcome to What is a Lutheran here at St. James Lutheran Church in Marion, Indiana. And I'm here today to talk about the Seventh Commandment, you shall not steal. Kind of ironic, huh, that it's me. But I'm kind of filling in for Pastor Fred because, I stole his car back in 2009 in Phoenix and felt kind of guilty about it. And so I figured, if I do this, maybe I'll make up for it a little bit, right? Seems like a nice guy. So, you shall not steal. I know. I'm talking about it. Weird, right? So, what are these things we steal? What are your possessions that we're going to talk about today? Well, there's simply things like your car, your house, your clothes, your food, everything that you own, even some things you don't realize that you own. And you own those things because, God gives them to you, indirectly sometimes through other people, but they're your possessions for you to manage. Actually, everything belongs to God, right? But you're managing it. You're the steward of it. So how do we keep this commandment? Well, this is odd for me to say, but don't steal your neighbor's stuff, right? That's pretty simple. If it belongs to somebody else, keep your hands off of it. Another way we steal that sometimes we don't think about is, don't be lazy at work, or don't be careless at work, Your employer is paying you, do your work that you're required to do in a good way. Also, don't steal from yourself. Let me say, how do I steal from myself? Well, if you're not doing the best job you can, if you're not living out your purpose in life, if you're not living to your potential, that's stealing from yourself. It's like a kid. If you don't study for the test and then you flunk the test, who's at fault there? Well, you were stealing from yourself by not studying. Another thing is don't commit fraud. Now, okay, that's obvious, right? But what I also mean is don't commit fraud using legal means. You can actually break this commandment and do it legally. Find a way to take your neighbor's business or take your neighbor's property in a way that is perfectly legal according to ordinances or whatever. That's still that is still breaking this commandment. So even if it's legal, it doesn't mean it's right, okay? Now, what are your possessions today? I mean, beyond the house and the home and all these, your cell phone, stuff like that. Well, things like intellectual property. Now, people don't really think much about that, but that's things like software or, any type of things that music is another one. For instance, you guys use music here. You need to make sure you have the proper licenses and proper copyrights so people that wrote the music get paid. And I checked, and it seems like you guys do, which is kind of a disappointment to me. I mean, come on. Why are you guys so legal all the time? Identity theft is another one. Now, who in the world would steal somebody's identity? Well, actually, it's pretty profitable, let me tell you. Stealing somebody's Social Security card or their driver's license, man, you can make some serious money on that. You can get all kinds of things done. So you need to protect that stuff. And, don't steal other people's stuff. You can steal by stealing somebody's ideas or their thoughts, and portraying them as yours, plagiarism and stuff like that. So there's various ways that you can steal. Now, all this stuff we have, I think we have to think about, where did it come from? We say, everything is ultimately God's stuff, and we're managing it. Now, how do we get it? Well, usually when we're younger, from our parents who give us stuff, provide for us, our family, sometimes friends, and mainly because from our jobs. We have a job, we earn money, we buy stuff, to live on, and so that's where all that stuff comes from. But ultimately, it comes from God, and so does everybody else's stuff. So we should be content with what we have and not try to steal other people's stuff. Now, how should we use the things that God gives us? What's a proper way to do it? Well, first of all, provide for your family, right? And the things that they need. We can also provide for other people's needs through charities and nonprofits and helping people out that need a hand up. Not just looking out for ourselves, but for others as well. Another way we use those possessions in a good way is to provide for our church. So we continue to spread the gospel both locally and internationally and nationally. So those are all ways that we can use this stuff that God has blessed us with and given to us. So now let me end with a little bit of advice. lock your car. Yeah, I'm out there. Pastor Fred learned that the hard way. Lock your car. And, get a security system. I tell you, my cousin, talk about highway robbery, he's making these commercials, selling these security systems, which are supposed to keep him from getting in. Kind of like letting the fox into the hen house there, I think, right? So, and let me give you a clue when you buy a security system. There was this guy in Phoenix. He got a security system, but never bothered to memorize or write down the code and never registered it with the local police department. So one day his kid sets it off. He can't figure out how to turn it off, and the house is squealing, waking up the entire neighborhood for 30 minutes straight, right? Finally, he pushes 1, 2, 3, 4, and it shuts off. You think he could have memorized that? 45 minutes later, the Phoenix Police Department shows up. Now, that was really embarrassing. But what was even worse is 2 weeks later, he got a letter in the mail from the Phoenix Police Department charging him $85 because he didn't register his security system. Talk about robbery. And it was legal robbery. That was hilarious. I won't tell you who that was. Well, actually, it was Pastor Fred again. Yeah, he doesn't learn very quickly. Anyway, lock your doors. I'm out there. I'm always out there. Protect yourself from me. Well, thank you for joining us for What is a Lutheran at St. James Lutheran Church in Marion, Indiana. And we will see you next week. Hopefully Pastor Fred will be back. Peace out.